popular music generally is, you know, is like, it kind of almost has this Peter Pan complex.
Yeah.
Where if you're around for too long, then it's like people just like, oh, you're too old for this, or you're too this and that.
Yeah.
And it's mad because I think they don't do the same thing with rock.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Krash, good to have you on, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, so there's a lot obviously we need to get into. Obviously, your new single, and then just like lifestyle and just how like this rap career has gone for you. But sort of a standard question we sort of have for musicians is like, where did you get your start? Like, what made you want to become a rapper in the first place?
Oh, I'd say youth club. Like
Youth club, okay.
Yeah. Like foundation was youth club, innit? So this was like when Dizzy first came out and stuff like that. And I was, when Dizzy was out, like I was in youth clubs. I was like one of the younger lot in the youth club, but you know, we had decks.
Nice.
And so because we had decks and we had a microphone, I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't like confident enough at the time to like pick up the mic. But then eventually, when I got a little bit older in school, we just used to do ciphers and stuff like that.
Swear down.
Yeah. So that was it really. And then I got invited to studio.
Oh, nice one. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just been like nurture. How old would you say you were at that time?
When I first started spitting,
maybe
like 13.
It's always around.
Yeah,
that.
13, 14.
I see you.
Yeah.
Alright, so it seems like it was like just sort of nurtured from like a young age then.
Yeah.
So what would you say, like, man, like Dizzy Rascal and like that group from back then, those like your main inspirations now, even now?
Yeah, I mean, I would say from that era, I still respect Dizzy's catalogue.
Absolutely, yeah.
But Kano, like Kano,
man, like Kano.
I used to even try and rap like Kano in terms of like my tone and stuff like that. My tone is more like my speaking voice now. Yeah. But I used to rap a little bit higher, like Kano and Gets.
Kano's voice,
Yeah, when he, because
it's like
Kano's
high
voice
but aggressive at the same time.
Exactly. So I kind of mirrored that sort of cadence in the beginning, and then now I've kind of just come into my own and found my own way. But I still listen to him, and I like what he does now because his subject matter has progressed. He's not stuck. You get me? He's still, keeping it moving.
Yeah, no, he's progressed a lot. What was the name of his last album?
Hoodies All Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
sick.
Very well done. Again, his subject matter just evolved and everything.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Okay, so it sounds to me like it's a lot of grime MCs is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Is there any one of like the new school that you're sort of looking at?
Oh, new school. How new we talking?
Let's just talk. I mean, I feel just to say like Heady One and man like that.
Yeah, I love Heady. Heady's sick. Like he's one of those people where what I like about him is he's got so much character in his vocal. Like obviously like early noughties, 90s rappers, they were all, you could kind of identify each one of them. Like one of my favorite rappers of all time is Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
And he's one of those people where that it's him instantly. And so like I think a lot of my favorite rappers are just like that. You know what I mean? You can identify them. So with the new school guys, I like the guys I can identify. So the Headies, I think AJ Tracy's got a really good voice as well.
Yep.
Who else? Obviously Stormzy's doing amazing stuff. Who else?
What about someone newer like Dutch?
Dutch, yeah. I love Dutch's campaign because whenever I go and watch something with Dutch, I read the comments. Some of those,
all of them. My guy chewed on a bunch of cigarettes when he talks.
They say stuff like, when Dutch was little, he put his parents to sleep. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I love the fact that obviously, you know, people know that he's Steph's brother.
Yeah.
But he came out after her, like in terms of popularity, and he's just doing his thing.
Yeah, he's never like gone to that world to like sort of just sort of use her fame to get on. He sort of just does his own thing. I didn't even know they were related until I saw them together, and I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
Fair shout. I don't know how someone who looks like Steph
Yeah.
can have a brother who looks like the baddest murderer in London like Dutch, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah,
exactly.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
But okay, so one thing I'm seeing from the new school guys is that there has to be like a separating factor about them. So this goes to like your bar from the struggle rapper thing about the USP or unique selling point.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for you then. Interesting.
For sure.
So I mean, I spoke about it now, so let's just get into it. The struggle rapper track.
Yeah.
So obviously I've listened to it. I enjoy it. I enjoy the subject matter. But do you want to just sort of go a little deeper into like the concept of it, who it's for, and everything about it?
Yeah. So like my thing is that like I feel like there's especially being a black male from inner city London.
Yep.
Like our main voice in music is based off, I don't know, like drug culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mainly, you know what I mean? Or the roads.
Yeah.
Let's just say like, and the thing is like everyone has a cousin or everyone has, a relative or whatever who's done that, and they may even done that themselves.
Yeah.
Those stories always need to be told, because I think that, that is part of the culture, street culture.
It's authentic to some people. Of course,
Exactly. But then there's this other side for me where it's like, what about that you who grew up in the ends, who might have seen some madness, but may have chosen a different path. And it's not like to say that you is now,
better than them or anything.
Better than them.
Just a different story.
Just a different story. Just chose a different route.
It's like Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. Like,
exactly.
He's not like the rest of his like J-Rock and them, man, who were talking about this stuff. He's like,
facts.
I was around, but I didn't do none of that stuff.
Yeah.
I see you.
That's me. That's me. I think, obviously I wasn't perfect, but I feel like that was me. Like, I was the person who was around the elders who were on stuff, but they were like, nah, you do that. You go studio, or you do this and you do that. And it's like, they would tell me to do certain things that are like more positive. And I think maybe it's because they were in and out of prison, or they were, they were seeing it from a few years, hindsight.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way I write. And the more I get older, the more I kind of just write from that aspect of that man who, is doing that 9 to 5 and not making it mundane either. Like, I don't feel like when I'm talking about these things, it alienates a man from the roads, because essentially what happened with me, or what's happening with me, is like, I'm a creative, I'm in the creative world, and a man from the roads who happens to do music and happens to be creative, ultimately we meet somewhere. Because it's like, okay, I'm going from, stacking shelves in Marks and Spencer's, for example. You're going from serving customers on roads, and we both love music.
Oh man, yeah.
We both. I mean, obviously, there's different risk involved, but forget about the risk.
Music's the commonality.
Music is the commonality, and you essentially want to come off the road. I want to come out of retail. We meet here. So our subject matters in music might be different, but when it comes to this music,
the thing that unites you is the same.
That's it. But we need more balance in the game.
Oh, for sure.
So that's what I think.
But no, I think that's why I like the struggle rapper theme and everything, because it just tells a different story again. I'm seeing right now a lot of people who are just talking about this same, and again, that's not to discount those stories, because like you're saying, those stories do need to be told, and a lot of them are legitimate. But also to that same point, I personally know rappers who are putting on that stuff because that's what sells. And I'm like, but that's not authentic to you. So you need to find what's authentic to you. And I think, like you're saying, you need to make these topics not sound so mundane. So it's like, people won't have trouble wanting to go to that bag. That's what you want to get to at some point.
Exactly. Because I think that the biggest misconception about like someone in my position is that my life was easy because I didn't choose the roads or, you know, anything like that. It's like, nah, like, have you tried to make money stretch when someone's giving you £7.50 an hour? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not easy life. And then also, you've also got to look at like, just, you know, when we talk about mental health within the black community, it's something that's dusted under the carpet a lot. And that's something that, you know, everyone can relate to, you know what I mean? So like when it comes to things like struggle rapper, I talk about that. And also just being picked up by the police, being pulled over by the police. The policeman ain't gonna, the policeman's not going to be able to differentiate between who's on the road.
He doesn't see your life experiences, he sees your skin color.
He sees your skin color. Like, that's, you know, that's facts. That's it. You know, you're an IC3 male, you know?
Yeah, I think, again, the struggle rapper thing's very interesting because when I think of struggle rappers, I think of like the one who's like trying to make, again, the context you put on it is very different. When I think of struggle rapper, it's like, I'm trying to make it, these men aren't listening to my stuff, this, that, and the third, why aren't you listening to me? I'm doper than him, I'm doper than him, I'm doper than him. But then I'm like, because I always look at it from both sides, because oftentimes the struggle rapper often wants to be popping, innit? And that's the main thing that they're on. But it sounds to me like, for you, struggle rappers, like, this is what I'm doing regardless. I love this. I'm doing it for the love of music, not for to get on or anything like that.
Oh man, 100%, man, 100%. Like I feel like in black music in particular, like because we're so popping at the moment, we have this whole thing of like popular music generally is, you know, is like, it kind of almost has this Peter Pan complex. Where if you're around for too long, then it's like people just like, oh, you're too old for this, or you're too this and that. And it's mad because I think they don't do the same thing with rock.
No.
Do you know what I mean? The Rolling Stones and them, man. You know what I mean? They're still, they don't make new music. They're still touring and they're still, do you know what I mean?
Like good example, there's a band called Fozzy, right? Who like started, from what I remember, like doing music in like their mid-30s. They only started popping now when they're in their 50s. And like people are like, yo, you man are popping now. I'm like, 1 minute, you're popping in your 50s. Imagine that happening to a rapper.
Exactly.
The Peter Pan thing, that's a bar.
It's mad. It's mad. And I think that's why I look up to people like, you know, the Nas's and the Jay-Z's, just in terms of what they represent for the wider thing of rap specifically, because, you know, for them to still be at those heights is important. And then you look at the subject matters of what they're talking about as well.
They actually advance it.
Yeah, because if you had Jay-Z specifically talking about, you know, the same stuff that he did on Blueprint, you know what I mean? Blueprint 2, like Big Pimpin' and stuff like that. Be like, yo, big man, you've got like 4 kids or whatever.
Are you really big pimping in your 50s, man?
Exactly, yeah. You're married and this and that. And fine, there's always those stories that you might want to tell that are kind of, you know, separate from your own life. But he dropped one of the most personal albums of his career. 444, yeah. And like, I love that because it gave me something to look towards. And then I look at Kano, and Kano's doing the same sort of thing. Like, obviously Kano's a lot younger than Jay-Z, but our scene is younger. So you look at Kano, you look at Gets, and you look at what they're doing, and their content is still hard. But it's, you know.
It's an interesting thing that you bring up, because I feel like while, again, the wave is what everyone looks to, I feel like there's more invested in longevity in the game. Again, look at, you said Jay-Z, 444. Nas, I've forgotten the name of his album, but King's Dream or something like that.
King's Disease.
King's Disease, yeah. Top to bottom, just a fire album. There's more, again, gets I don't even want to call it a resurgence because he's been here, but it's like he's getting bigger and bigger even now. Kano, the same thing, and it's like, and then you look at the Coles, the Kendricks, the Drakes, all of them, longevity, 10 plus years in the game. And I feel like, again, the opposite to the struggle rappers, people who want to be on this popping wave, and what they don't realize is that this wave that you're on, you more time unless you do something to separate yourself, only lasts 5 years at the max.
Yeah.
And they don't, and then that's where you have so many fall off stories.
Yeah.
Again, this is why I really like the subject matter on the Struggle Rapper track, because it's like, again, it's not about popping for me. It's about regardless of my circumstances, if I don't do this, I'm gonna go insane. This is my love.
Facts.
Yeah,
that's it, man. I absolutely, that's nail on the head, man. Like I love doing it, and I think that, you know, say like when you go on holiday, for example, you go on holiday and you'll go anywhere. Like as long as there's good weather, you know, music, drinks, whatever, you might go to some random club or bar, right? And then you're eating and you see someone performing, you're like, yo, this is good vibes. You might not know that person from anywhere, but that person might have been doing that same gig for the last 10 years. And it's like, you know, are you going to tell that person, nah, you should stop doing that?
Yeah.
Why?
When are you gonna blow stuff?
Exactly.
Like that?
You know what I mean? It's like, of course, there are people who are going to be in your corner and say, "Oh, look, we want to take you here, we want to take you there." That's, you know, that's cool. But at the same time, it's that whole thing of like just people who may have given up on their dreams and then kind of just, you know, projecting that onto you, like in that sense, you know.
But I think what I like is it puts rap in its, your song puts rap in its proper perspective, love of the art. Because again, you see, because people focus so much on blowing, they more time miss what comes with it. A good example is, have you listened to like Nines' last album?
Nah, I haven't listened to it all yet. But yeah.
So the common theme, like, because he released like a whole like he does like these mini docs. So he did another one for like Crabs in a Bucket. And the theme around it was basically like, I mean, I'm popping now, but look at all the stuff I got to deal with. I'm so unhappy because I'm like a single man on a stage. No one's helping me, but everyone has a handout. So it's like people never look at that side where it's like, if you just focus on the love of the art and if you focus on the love of the art, what?
Shout out to Nines, actually. We went to school together.
Swear.
London
is small, bro.
Yeah.
London is
for a little bit. I think he got kicked out.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's actually mad. No, I have a connection to Nines as well, though. That's why it's like I listen to his stuff quite heavily.
Oh man, he's dope.
He's very underrated in the scene.
It's extremely.
Didn't he get a number 1 as well?
He did. Yeah.
Congrats on that for sure.
Yeah, man.
But so yeah, overall, I just love the message that Struggle Rapper presents, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's just something that like people need to hear to sort of, again, think about where they're at in music. What are you really in this for? Exactly. Are you in it because you're a creative mind who just like, if you're not writing something down, it's like something feels amiss. Or are you just here for the pop, for the money, the fame, the girls, all the stuff that's fleeting? Or are you here for the actual work of it? That's why I respect the project so much.
100%, man.
Okay, so with that, is there more that you have coming? Because obviously this is like the first release on Spotify and everything. Definitely like stream the track and everything. So is there more?
There is more. So like before, I was part of a duo called Krash and Elements. Shout out Elements. Basically, in terms of like my solo stuff that's like coming out, I've got more. And like there's two sides to like my music. So there's more like, so Struggle Rap is like soulful, hip hop, you know, quite kind of nostalgic vibes. And I'm a wordsmith, you know, any like that's what I really pride myself on as well. It's like, I want people to listen back and be like, oh, I didn't catch that. You know what I mean? So, you know, the stuff that I'll bring out will be, you know, of that ilk. And then the other side will be, you know, more London sound, darker sounds, maybe more like politically charged drill sort of vibes. My next single, which should be out, you know, October, some point in October, will be like that.
Yeah, I feel like there's such a big thing on not wanting to like touch drill because of the negative connotations around it, but artistically go there. Go there with the style if you can.
That's it, man. And I think as well, like they've always done it with like with with black music,
Yeah.
apart from like maybe like R&B, you know what I mean? Because, okay, fine, like before drill, we had grime, and that's why I love drill so much, because it's like, essentially, you know, what they're doing to drill now is what they did to grime. You know, like,
for sure.
look at Pow, like, you know, that was in conversation. I was watching something the other day where they were talking about Pow. Pow was banned in you know, in the raves.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It used to get lit, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people just didn't know what to do with themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing, like, which is quite interesting, that you would get in a mosh pit. Do you know what I mean?
Same vibes, yeah.
And okay, fine. Obviously, people have real problems. You know what I mean? There are people who do go to places to find a man. You know what I mean? And cause a madness. But the fact of the matter is like, you know, you're blocking artists and you're blocking people from actually being able to eventually employ their friends. Do you know what I mean? To give them legitimate jobs so they can actually, you know, excel.
Yeah.
It's better now, before, because
it used to be horrible.
it was horrible before, and it's like now obviously there's a blueprint.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the gigs, you've got the Skeptors of the world who've shown, like, you know, people coming under them, like, how to do it.
How to move professional while still, I mean, again, that's why I respect like guys like Dutch so much, where it's like, this is like, I'm rapping this stuff, but you see me, I don't move dumb, I move like a professional. Like, I always respect like the professional element. That's why I like guys like Wiley and them, man, who just made these genres respectable and that. And I feel like that's where drills go into. So again, that's why I'm like, when you tell me you're gonna like add element to drill, I'm like, go for it. You need to infuse that and just sort of, again, as a creative, you want to take your mind anywhere, innit?
100%.
So take your mind and your pen wherever it can go and do your thing. I love that.
I've got more, you know, I got more of that, you know, the struggle rapper vibes as well. Like, I'm gonna release a project eventually. You know, this whole period of like, you know, it being a pandemic and stuff like that is, it hasn't stopped things too much in terms of, you know, my creative flow. It just meant I had to adjust more than anything. So
no,
it's like,
I was going to ask because again, we see like this pandemic has affected a lot of artists differently in terms of they're not in the same places to get the creative juices going. So how has it sort of affected your writing style and everything?
Bro, like, I remember when I got sent home. So, you know, I work for 4 Music. That's like, you know, that's like my day job, so to speak. So it was very like last minute, you know. There was conversations about potentially it happening, but everyone kind of rolled their eyes like, nah, this ain't gonna happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, boom, you're at home. And then I thought, yo, this is lit. Like, what? Because I've got all of my stuff, you know, from editing to recording. Shout out my producer Low Dog. Like, I go to his house, his home studio to record.
Fair shot.
Primarily there, but I can record in my house, and
you got
I know how to engineer, and
Smart.
I've got all of that. But I was like, I'm gonna kill it, because I can be doing some editing over there, and then I can go over there, blah blah, and then boom, it just hit me, and I was like, I didn't even want to listen to music. I didn't listen to music for like 2 months.
I hear that.
Because I went with it, you know what I mean? I was just focusing on being a father. It kind of just crashed. And then...
No pun intended.
Oh, yeah. And then eventually, like, once I got adjusted, you know what I mean? I was doing a bit of homeschooling, you know, with my daughter, and trying to, like, adjust, you know, things with 4 Music and stuff like that, workflows and all that. Then I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, man's back.
Yeah, no, I think that's the funny thing about that, right, is, again, there was a lot of that. When lockdown first happened, there was a lot of, if you don't get this done by the lockdown, you, like, there's no excuses, And then everyone was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Best shape of my life, this, that, and the third. And then 2 weeks hit. I don't want to do nothing. It's like everyone hit the wall. Because it's like, you think the issue is that you don't have time. But then when you're given all the time in the world, it's like, no, like sometimes the inspiration's just not there. You need to motivate yourself. And it sounds to me like you adjusted everything again. It's a very different circumstance. You having a daughter and then having to homeschool and everything. But you sort of prioritize things and then organized your time right. And then you managed a way to make it work. So that's impressive, man. That's impressive.
You're so right. Like that. This is what I was saying as well. When I kind of came back to earth in terms of, you know, like processing everything. Yeah. You know, I was saying on my Insta stories is like, you know, like sometimes when you have too much time, it's when your mind gets scrambled the most. Yep. Because I was thinking of this, you know, of the mindset of, okay, cool. Like I love what I do with for music. You know what I mean? You know, edit interviews, music videos and stuff like that. I'll be doing that. But then in my mind might be ticking for, oh yeah, do you know, I want to write that verse. Or I want to do that because that's more my behind the scenes stuff. Right. And so when I'm working, I'm able to kind of be like, all right, let me go in my phone, put a note down, blah, blah. And then I know once a week, I'm gonna go to Low Dog's house. I'm gonna record, and I know that I need to nail it down.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
One take type thing.
Whereas if all of a sudden you're in your house, and yeah, like there's no commute, so you get that extra 2 hours a day. You're like, yeah, man can use that. And you're like, oh, actually, nah.
Actually, no, I need to rest.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, because I was going to ask, again, like, how did you prioritize, how did you organize your time? Like, are you doing it like dedicating specific hours to writing, obviously homeschooling and everything, and taking care of your daughter? And then, so how was it for you? How was the adjustment?
Oh, man. So at first, I think I'm the type of person where, like, I can be pretty hard on myself in terms of, like, you know, I'm only in competition with myself. That's how I feel, you know, like I need to just keep bettering or keep consistent more than anything. Yeah. So trying to find that consistency was the most difficult part because I was like, what is this supposed to look like? Like, you know, my daughter's like 4, she's 5 now. So you think, like, what, teaching a 5-year-old or 4-year-old is like, nah, it's not hard, isn't it? But it's like, nah.
Then you get the questions in like, 1 minute, this is your math? What is
yeah, it's mad. It's one of them ones where it's like, because they're doing like things like phonics and learning how to read. That's so important. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm doing that. And I said to myself, right, I need to keep fit as well. So I wake up in the morning and I'll be doing exercise. And I'm like, all right, cool. You can do your thing. Sometimes she'll want to do it with me. Other times she'll want to play. Cool. I'm like, cool. I need to keep fit because man's not gonna try and add extra pounds while I'm here.
No Uncle Belly from the pandemic.
Yeah, man, exactly. And I'm very conscious about the fact that I'm a dad, and I don't want them memes where it's like, yeah, like, you know, look at dad, like, you know, dad's just kind of, dad used to be the man and he just fell off because he's just, nah.
You know what? That's not you. That's not you.
I want to. Oh damn! Oh, you're a dad, yeah? Okay. I want that. I want to keep that. You know. But yeah, so man's doing that, and then I'd set timers. So I'd set timers. Mostly, and then I'll just kind of, you know, ease it every now and then. I'll be like, okay, cool. So that took an hour. This took that. And I wouldn't beat myself up if it took a bit longer, but
that's the important part.
That was kind of how I did it, you know? Timers. And then when it comes to the music, I'm a night owl. So, you know, no one, like, obviously I'll be working, let's say 9:30 to 6. No one from work can chat to me after 6. No one. Like, don't. I
get that.
You know what I mean? I had to be. Because people were, you know, working from home, they get a bit happy with the emails or trying it's that. And I've done it at times, but I just had to say to myself, nah, this is my time to spend with my family or to do whatever it is I want to do. You know what I mean?
It's as simple as after a certain time, you're not going to reach me. Like, it's not that my phone's off. It's that I'm not answering you. That's
exactly. Yeah, like, Carol, no. Like, I don't want to hear from you right now. Carol. It can wait, Carol. You got to chill.
Listen, Carol, you're getting blocked. You're getting blocked until 6 a.m.
You're not getting my normal line. If you want to Skype me tomorrow, cool. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's another thing as well. Like, shouts out to them, but certain people are not getting my main line because they will just ring you. You know, oh yeah, sorry, I know it's out of... Nah. you have to really differentiate it, especially because there's no commute. You know what I mean? So it's like, even to consume things like, you know, podcasts.
Yeah.
That's the main time I'm doing it.
Oh, what, during the commute?
Yeah.
Of course,
yeah. So I ain't
that's literally free time, isn't it?
Yeah. So now I've got my daughter, like, you know, asking for this and that. I'm like, nah, listen, let me cook something and put my thing on, you know, like whether it's a podcast, you know, or music, and you can go and play now. Simple.
Oh man. Okay, so I think we've covered like most of the music stuff. I did want to get into the vegan stuff. I think I'm gonna like the vegan lifestyle stuff. Obviously, we spoke about that prior to the interview. Hearing about a vegan rapper is somehow weird. Like we have some like specific diet or something. But when I heard he's a vegan rapper, I was like, that's interesting. So tell me about what made you come into that.
I think the only vegan rapper that I know, apart from like maybe, okay, well, Low Dog's vegan as well, but he don't really rap like that. But JME was like someone from like early who was on this vegan thing. But yeah, do you know what? I love it, man. I feel like, you know, every now and then I'll put it in some of my lyrics. You know? Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I say something like, so vegan, no meat, but I'm cleaving, cut you off like Moses in Egypt.
Wait a minute.
You know?
See, when you said I have vegan mom, I was like, okay, well, I don't know how this is about to sound. Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, and you know, like we were having a conversation off air about, you know, being vegan is like emasculating or something like that.
Yeah. That's
like,
the stigma.
Yeah, that's probably why, because when you think about rap, you think
a point.
hard. You think, you know,
manly
grit.
Man,
you know what I mean? Like, man came from the mud. You know what I mean?
He's a man. He can probably fight, even though rappers can't actually fight.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's it's definitely all about numbers, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, like knowing better, you can do better, innit? And I think like being vegan, it's like part of it's like an extended part of who I am, like a community. And like, you know, I go to events, you know, whether it's like veganism and music go hand in hand. Like a lot of, you know, when we think about not the Western side of things, but we think about like Rastas, for example.
Yeah, okay, go on.
And then obviously you've got people like Chronix, who's vegan, who I really, I love his music.
Love Chronix.
And I just love what he stands for. And it just intertwines, you know, same way, you know, Rick Ross will rap about Wingstop, because obviously man's got shares in it.
Yeah.
You know, even him, he's slimmed down. You know what I mean? He's slimming down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Compared to what he was.
Exactly. But it's that whole thing of like, you know, people get mad at vegans, but I think it's like, you're not mad at vegans, you're mad at yourself. Like,
I feel like it's more time. You know them ones where it's like someone brings this alternative lifestyle, then you have the bad apples who spoiled a whole bunch type of thing. You have those people who feel like making them being vegan now makes them better. And now that stigma's on every single vegan.
Facts.
To where it's like, oh, you're vegan. Like, even this whole thing about how do you know a vegan? Don't worry, within 5 seconds they'll tell you they're vegan.
Yeah.
Like there's all these negative stigmas, so it's like, I don't know. I feel the general thing about veganism is that I feel like it's actually promoting a good thing. Yeah. It's just sometimes some bad messengers. That's what.
Yeah, for sure. And also, like, you know, like I think it's just a case of, you know, where you can do stuff. Like, for example, I know that, you know, say if you say, oh yeah, like I'm gonna go chicken shop after this, right? I might come with you. Yeah. And, you know, I remember loving fried chicken. I'm not gonna use it as an opportunity to be like, yo, Jas, like, listen, I don't really think this is a good.
you're not preachy with it.
You gotta think about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When people come to me with a conversation like this, then I'll talk about how I feel, or I'll talk about this and that. But ultimately, it's like anything. Lead by example. You see a man that's like, you know, super ripped, and he might show you his before and after. You might ask him a few questions, but he's not gonna be telling you like, oh yeah, you know, you must do this or you must do that, because he, you know, if you haven't asked, unless he's a, you know, PT or whatever. Yeah. Because otherwise, it's like, well, how do you know that my man isn't happy with how he is? You know what I mean? He might be okay with that.
So it's just a case of
Yeah.
you see how I'm doing. If
Yeah.
you ask me how I'm doing, this is me, this is what I do. I'm not gonna preach it to you, but if you want to know how to get like me, this is how, basically.
Yeah. And not everything I have is vegan. Well, everything I consume is vegan, but like, you know, my iPhone is not vegan. You know what I mean? It's like it's where you can, innit?
Yeah.
Within, you know.
Well,
within
I feel it's good to make that differentiation, because I feel again, certain people take on this vegan lifestyle and then use it as this like higher sense of self compared to everyone else, and it's like, but where are your shoes from? Where's your phone from? Where's this from?
But do you know what? Do you know what jars me though? It's when people like ask you, like they'll say, "Oh, so what? Like, you've never really felt like just having a little bit?" It's like, yo, like, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Let's not do that. You know what I mean? It's like,
actually interesting. I have an interesting question.
it's like asking a Muslim, like, "Oh, so what? You never really wanted no bacon?"
Yeah.
You know, you never really wanted no bacon. Like just small, like bacon is like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's a good comparison.
Do you know?
Because it's like, on that end, you wouldn't even, it's like, no, I wouldn't even imagine it. Okay, so why are you imagining it with me now?
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
So I have an interesting question, right? Because I have considered at least doing a trial run with the vegan lifestyle.
Yeah, sick.
And the reason why I can do it is, for me personally, I view food as fuel. I don't look at it from a standpoint of, like, this tastes fantastic. It's not like taste doesn't drive me. Taste is fine.
Okay.
But I'm a fuel guy. Like, if it fuels me, I'll eat it.
Fair enough.
So are you of a similar mindset, or is it like it has to, or does taste drive you more than like fuel?
Yeah, I think one of the things that, especially like obviously living in the Western world, that I have to tell like some of my brethren who are non-vegan is, my food still got seasoning, rude boy. You know what I mean? My food still slaps.
Hey, to be fair, there's nothing like non-vegan about seasoning. That's That should be a unique selling point still.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like, I was adamant on that one. I was like, like, I know you might go to, you know, I'm not gonna like name any names, but you might go to a certain food outlet and it might be a bit dry. You know, you might get the green leaf salad, but that's not how.
I feel to name some, but we're not.
That's not. That's not how man's living. That's not how I'm living. You know, so I just think I'll still go to you know, like I'll go to the butchers, but you know, like, you know, butchers, you can buy things that aren't, you know, that are vegan. You know, you can buy the lentils, you can buy yam, you can buy plantain, you can buy. What else can you buy? Like sweet potato, beans. Listen, there's so many different things you can do. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of different options.
I forgot your question.
Oh no, it's just like, how do you view it from like a taste standpoint, or is it more of like this just fuels me, this makes me healthy?
Oh, taste.
Okay,
man.
so
Yeah, I'm a taste man. I'm like you know, I don't need meat alternatives all the time. So before, like when I first started, I was like, I needed the texture of meat. You know what I mean?
So like all this, I can't believe it's not chicken stuff.
Yeah, like the soya and things like that.
Yeah.
But then it was just about learning how to make it nice. You know what I mean? How to kind of get that texture, how to make it, you know, because I'm a taste person for sure.
I do feel like the vegan lifestyle in general is good. It's just been like presented in the wrong way by the wrong people.
Facts,
But with more time and more, again, we've spoken about like athletes who've done it, and haven't had like adverse effects on their athletic performance and stuff. So overall, I feel like it's just a knowledge thing. With more time, people will learn, and then you'll see it take on it'll be sort of brought into society in a more natural way.
And deeper like this as well. Like, I mean, you know, okay, fine. Like, if we're talking about like Africa, for example, so obviously we touched on, you know, Rastafarianism. You know, primarily they're vegan, right? Okay, let's take it back to the motherland. So you've got East Africa, you know, Ethiopia, Eritrea. You know, they are like naturally plant-based in their diets in terms of what they do, you know, the injera and you know, lentil-based dishes and stuff. And okay, in West Africa, you know, it's not so much the case, but actually, when you go way back, like having meat was always there, but it was for an event. You know what I mean? Man wasn't having meat all the time.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't afford it. And then on top of that, when we think about the other thing you have to give up as a vegan, it's like dairy, right?
Yep.
You think you can have semi-skim milk in African heat?
I mean, let's just get one thing.
You can't.
Semi-skimmed milk is garbage. Let's just get that out of the way, bruv. Like, milk.
That's why man have powdered milk.
Fam.
I remember, listen, the powdered milk thing.
The way my life got so much better when I started having almond milk, bro.
Yeah.
That semi-skim stuff is trash. That,
It is.
oh my days.
It is. And anyone listening, listen, if you want to have something that's close to semi-skim, because I love cereal, I still love cereal to this day, oat milk. Oat milk is Lang.
Oat milk, no Tory Lanes. I hear you.
Yeah.
I had to get the info clip behind the camera still. Okay, but overall, like I said, I feel like the vegan lifestyle is one that you'll start to see it start to improve once you get more rational and more common messengers. I feel.
That's
what I feel.
For sure.
Okay, so we've discussed that. The last thing I want to touch on is a tough one, but obviously it's one that in the times we're living in, it's one that we need to talk about. So obviously, as you mentioned, you're the father to a 5-year-old little girl.
Yes, yeah.
And we're living in a very, very dark time in terms of where things are in like race relations. Obviously, we have the stuff with George Floyd and how that's affected stuff in the UK as a result, and obviously stuff in America as well.
Yeah.
And then the Breonna Taylor stuff. And we just had the verdict in where it's like, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I believe the people who killed her only got charged for shooting through walls of other people's houses and not actually hitting her. Yeah,
and it was one officer, I believe.
It was only one officer,
Yeah.
So the question I have for you is, obviously, as the father of a little girl in 2020, what conversations are you having with her, and what's your just opinion on everything and how black women are viewed and treated in this current time? Yeah,
man. I took my daughter to a protest.
Oh wow.
Black Lives Matter protest a few months ago. It wasn't like in the heart of central London.
Yeah.
Mainly because, I don't know how safe that would have been for her, but it was more of a local one in Kilburn. And like she's at an age where she's discovering her blackness, and I just hope that I don't get that day where she comes back and, from school and says, I feel ugly. And, girls and boys as well might feel like that at a certain time, but it's a different sort of thing if you feel ugly because of the color of your skin.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's things like features or this and that you might not feel too proud about, but the color of your skin is something that you can never really change. Yeah. The other stuff as well, you shouldn't have to change, but no. It is what it is. You might grow into your ears, for example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It happens.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I love the fact of where I'm at, as a black man, raising a daughter, and just being conscious of the fact that, there's certain things that she will experience that will be unique to her. Yeah. And so like all of my fears, I don't project onto her. Like obviously she's only little, but I'm just thinking in terms of like future.
Future, of course, yeah.
But just her being able to understand that, she's beautiful, and yes, she matters, you know what I mean? She's gonna have to, there's certain things that I want her to be unapologetic in, you know what I mean? Absolutely. And that comes with with hairstyles, that comes with the way that you talk, and that goes both ways, you know what I mean? In terms of, sometimes like we're the only race where it's like, if you use full vocabulary, you're deemed as talking white.
Brother, nah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep,
it doesn't happen so much now.
Yeah.
But if you did...
Hey, back in the school days, bro.
Back in school days, man. If you're using, anything other than vernacular, you're deemed as talking white.
Talking white, yeah.
And then if you're, using mad slang, then you're talking black.
Yeah.
So it's just that whole thing of, I'm still learning because I want to know kind of what's happening with her, and you know, as she grows up, I want her to be just proud, you know, you know, when you go into the workplace, you can have, you know, whatever kind of hairstyle you want.
Yep.
From when it's like, you know, from when you're just in an office or whatever, I don't really see why you can't, you know.
Absolutely.
So it's just making her aware of what was going on before her, also making her aware of the beautiful things of being, you know, of Afro-Caribbean descent. You know what I'm saying? The things that maybe we weren't given.
Yeah.
You know, even like, unfortunately, like, you know, shouts out to my parents and stuff like that.
He's about to say some real stuff. Go on,
but, you know, they didn't necessarily give you them gems like that. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, you go to parties and things like that and you see celebratory things.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, black excellence, you get me?
Yeah, black excellence wasn't really a thing until like our generation.
Exactly, real. That's it, you know? That's why we only saw rappers and football players.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
That's it. And then that's not enough.
Yeah, no. Black excellence needs to be not something reserved for upper echelon. Black excellence is a like excellence amongst black people should be a common thing.
Exactly.
I 100% agree with that.
Because not everyone wants to be football players and rappers. And then on top of that, it's like black excellence could also be an artist manager, because that artist manager might be the person that's picking up all the pieces when the artist is off the rails. You get what I'm saying?
Like behind the scenes, people get like like don't get the credit they deserve all the time, for sure.
And because, you know, being a person who's obviously in front of the camera in this aspect, and behind the scenes as well, like I see both sides. I see the fact that, you know, there's more of us, you know, in front of the camera now. There's a lot more representation, which is great. But behind the camera, you know, people writing our stories, you know, treating these documentaries and this and that, editing and, you know, all of these things is so important, and it's still very, you know, white and middle class.
For sure.
And that kind of needs to change. It needs to be more diverse. So I hope with my daughter, to bring it back to her, that she, you know, sees a world where she can kind of be like, do you know what? I'm going to go for that. And I'm not really going to worry about the fact that I'm a black woman in this world.
That's ultimately you want her to be in a world where her skin colors like it's not a subconscious thing where she's worried about getting certain positions.
It's not a handicap.
It's not, absolutely.
You know, because, you know, we can, like, I despise when people say, I don't see color. You know, you can celebrate. I want her to embrace her blackness without it feeling like, oh man, you know, like maybe I need to turn it down here or this, that's like, no.